G'day guys, this is just some Aussie gamer. Welcome back to Democracy 4, our Germany playthrough that we're doing. I'd like to start off first of all by apologising for the abrupt end to the last video on Democracy 4. Had some microphone related issues, and yeah, so I've resolved that problem now, so that touch wood won't happen any longer. So let's get back into it. So we're in, Germany's just been added to the game, and we're in control of them. So far, we've absolutely eradicated crime, like it just doesn't exist. So, yeah. Our biggest problem right now is getting rid of the unemployment, which seems ridiculously hard to get down. A few people did give me a few tips about that, and just making sure that I keep making it easier for people to, get jobs, start businesses, etc. So I'm going to obviously focus on that. And the other thing I need to focus on is the environment, because I've been receiving warnings about the position of the environment. So all in all, we're in a pretty good place. The deficit is only 9.69 billion, and we've increased the spending quite significantly. Henning Horn wants flags on every street corner, which is something I'm prepared to do, just not right now. And I also need to have a bit of a look, should I say, into the immigration in this country, because we've just had a commercial truck with dead bodies that have been suffocated, and I don't really want to have that because it doesn't look too good on the government. So first things first, let's have a look and see through some of the policy ideas what I can do to help people get jobs and reduce that unemployment. Welfare fraud department? I mean, I don't think many people are defrauding. But I guess if we introduce this, it stops anyone who was potentially living, behind the scenes without our knowledge from continuing to do it, and maybe they have to take advantage of our 500 different policies that we've introduced in the previous playthrough to make their life easier and get a job. I don't know. I mean, I know not everyone can work, so I don't expect to be able to completely knock out unemployment. That would be crazy. But I at least want to make it real easy for everyone who can work to be able to work. So, welfare fraud department. TV ad campaigns. Oh, this one actually gives us good income. Oh, well, seeing as we have been spending so much, maybe getting some income isn't half a bad thing. I mean, I know it's going to reduce poor people's opinion. It's going to increase conservatives and middle income opinion. But, I mean, with the amount of money that we spent previously, I think we need to start making some back, or we're going to, if the global economy was to crash, or we were to have a flash crash or whatever, I want to try and reduce as much damage occurring as possible. So I know it sounds insane having undercover investigators, but I'm going to implement that. I'm going to see if it has any effect on our unemployment. I mean, and if it doesn't, I'll just reduce it. So food stamps will definitely help with poverty, which isn't high, but the less poverty in the country, the better. Now, there's obviously people out there who will argue differently. I believe everybody should be equal, but I don't believe everybody should be socialistly equal. I believe everybody should be wealthy and equal, if possible. So that's what I'm trying to do. So let's allow everyone in this country to be able to afford food, especially seeing as we introduced health food subsidies in the previous playthrough video. 3.87 billion. Well, if it increases people's health, it increases people's income, increases equality, brings us closer to that high-income egalitarian society that we're basically aiming for. So I'm going to apply changes. So far, my big spending on the people of the country hasn't come back to bite me too hard. The deficit hasn't really increased from where it was when we first started playing, but the position of the country is so much better than what the game originally gave us. So, yeah, let's really need to introduce things that are going to help with unemployment. Mandatory that's not going to help with unemployment. That's going to help the environment, though, which is the other thing we need to focus on. Trade union restrictions, vertical farm subsidies, city farms. All that does is improve the opinion of farmers and increase farmers' membership. And by doing that, potentially going to create a water shortage. So at the moment, because there's no food price issues or food shortage, I'll put it on the back burner. Tax automation. That's a difficult one because obviously we don't want everyone's job to be automated, but we obviously do want to keep technological innovation up in this country. So it's kind of a tough one. I mean, I know if you introduce heaps of industrial automation, it'll put people out of work for a small period of time and then jobs will open up in relation to the new technologies. But when close to 50%, well, at least by that bar, close to 50% of the country is still technically unemployed, I don't really want to cause a situation where companies are going to be looking for less people. Well, whilst we're at it, I'm going to introduce the cyberbullying awareness campaign because otherwise I guarantee you the game will throw up the negative modifier of cyberbullying, especially if we're going to fund technology, because technology increases internet speed and higher internet speed causes cyberbullying. So, social justice, no, that's not really... I mean, that's something that we can definitely look into if we need to, but it's not something that's going to create more employment. Youth club subsidies? Increases the youth's income, reduces crime, tackles cyberbullying as well, that's cool. Increases socialist membership, but, I mean, you've got to have some socialist policies if you're going to run a centrist country that sort of benefits everyone. So, yeah, I'm going to fund youth club subsidies. I don't need to fund it massively because at medium it already takes a good chunk out of cyberbullying. We don't really need to take any more of a chunk out of crime. So, yeah, I'll fund it to medium. I think we're running down a little bit on political capital now, but let's... what? Oh, so this helps with the poor and underrepresented in the country. Okay. But all it does, according to the game, is increase liberalism. Okay, that doesn't seem quite right. But anyway, so what can I do? I'm sort of going a bit crazy here because, I sort of read up on the comments and people sort of said that, try and focus on policies that'll give people work. But I sort of feel like I may have already introduced policies that will give people work. Unless I start doing things like state airline, state water company. Actually, I think there already is a state water company. That's the only sort of real job creation policies I have left. But the private industries have already got those anyway. So technically, I'd only really be stealing from stealing the workers from the private industries and not actually fixing the problem. So, I mean, antibiotics ban, yep, that's cool, that's implemented. That'll mean that we have less chance of having antibiotic-resistant bacteria, negative modifier at some point. Immigration, yeah, I know we have to work on that a little bit, but at the moment I feel like passport checks is quite... I could drag citizenship tests up a little bit. Massively reduces racial tension. Yeah, you know what? Let's go with it. That uses up the last two of our political capital for this turn. So what have they... Oh, yeah, he didn't... Is he the... Oh, yeah, this is the guy who wanted to put the frequent flyer tax on after we just opened a new airport to give people jobs and help to strengthen the economy. Yeah, nah, mate, you're not. You're just not. Cluster bomb ban. So an engineering company in our country has just won a contract to manufacture and supply cluster bombs for foreign countries. At the moment, there is no specific law that prohibits the company from making these products, but there is widespread public debate that we should ban the production of cluster bombs within our borders. I mean, that engineering company winning that contract will help our jobs situation and unemployment situation, but do I want to fix the country's unemployment situation whilst potentially making something that kills people? With the amount of violence already going on in the world, probably not. Probably not. So, our GDP is doing well. They predict we get 97% of the vote. And the budget deficit is 10.22 billion. So, the aim is to obviously completely eradicate that budget deficit and start paying off the debt. And it will happen. I'm just not 100% sure when. National Business Council, should I say. With the issues that we had before with finding the dead bodies in the truck, I don't want to have that as a problem. I'm not usually one to increase border controls, especially beyond passport checks and in a first world country like Germany, but to avoid that negative modifier, I'm going to drag it up to biometric checks and hope that that does what we needed it to do. And if we don't get any more negative modifiers in relation to immigration, I can drop it back down later. All right, 11 political capital. That one was relatively expensive. And I just realised that I forgot that this latest update of the game has caused the mouse to be extremely sensitive, so I have to be careful there. Ban Sunday shopping? I need to cancel that policy. It'll mean that more people can get work. So for the moment, because I can't cancel it, I'll just drop it back to medium. Not that I know what the difference between medium and high ban Sunday shopping is, honestly. But, yeah. Now we've got 3 political capital left, so maybe I can introduce something relatively cheap-ish on the political capital side of things. Youth Politics Council. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it's not going to increase employment, but maybe if youths get in a better experience at the local and regional level of, what it's like to be in politics and how politics affect, maybe that'll happen and help inadvertently. You know what? I'll fund it to the maximum, and if it, can always come back and get rid of it if I need to. Alright, so we've got 1 political capital left. We are halfway? Yeah, halfway. 10 turns. Okay, 10 turns to go. GM food proposal. Genetically modified. not sure I want to alter the food chain. Again, I know it could potentially help with the country's unemployment issue, but yeah. No, I don't want to help the country's unemployment issue, at least at this point, by selling genetically modified food. Yeah, it's going to hurt the GDP a little bit. Whoops. So, what exactly is feeding into the unemployment? I mean, the high GDP isn't helping. Cool. The unemployment benefit is slightly feeding in. Productivity is slightly feeding in. Minimum wage. So, immigration. Immigration is causing unemployment? I see. Well, that's annoying. Because it means I'm going to have to get real tough on the immigration. I don't want to get real tough. I just sort of want to be nice and balanced. But I am here to improve the life of the citizens of this country. And I've got to do that before I can improve the life of people who want to come to this country and be citizens. So it looks like I'm going to have to potentially take a pretty heavy stance on immigration to help with our unemployment problem. That's a little bit annoying, I'm not going to lie. So, environmental protests are coming back to the start trigger, but they're sort of starting to fade away as well. Okay. Angry classic car salesman, the car emission limits policy. Yeah, look, I know, mate, and it sucks that I had to do it, but otherwise the environmental negative modifier would have, killed our vote. So, at the moment, I have to go with it. I can reduce it maybe potentially in the future, but I don't know if I want to. Anyway. Alright, so obviously I need to look at something that's going to help with the environment. So maybe a clean fuel subsidy. Yep. And that should enable people with older cars, because you can fit new catalytic converters to older cars. That should enable that car salesman bloke to solve his problem. So just to make sure that he can solve his problem and that I increase his income at the same time, I'm going to fund that to the maximum. And also because I've basically funded every other policy to the maximum, why not keep running that course, So hopefully that helps the environment a little bit. Now, yeah, I really don't have enough political capital to enforce anything much. So I'll drag that up a little bit more, because obviously the game's made it very clear that my biggest problem with the unemployment is that I need to reduce the immigration. So we will drag up citizenship tests and all that as well. Military spending, we'll leave that where that is at the moment unless we run into problems, and then we'll increase that. Tourism ad campaign. Foreign aid media. Yep, I'm cool with that. Nice and central. It's what I'm all about. Keeps everyone happy. We're not spending too little, not spending too much. What have I got? Oh, one political capital. Why am I even bothering to check out the policies? I should just go to the next turn. Political relationship upgraded. Here we go. Business confidence through the roof. International trade up. Yep, that's what we want to do. GDP dropped slightly. Oh, just, Yeah, because I turned down the genetically modified food proposal. There we go. I've solved cyberbullying. That's good. Budget deficit is still around 9 billion euros. So, on this turn, I'm going to smash the border controls up. And that's going to spend all my political capital. Wow. But let's hope that cycles through to the unemployment problem, like what the game was telling us, that immigration was having a 30% negative effect on the employment of citizens of this country. So I'll go... I mean, I know that was an extremely quick turn, but hey, whatever, you know. What do you want? You still want flags on a street corner. Is it gonna increase racial tension massively if I put it on major city streets? That seems to be, you know, that gives him what he wants. Costs us absolutely bugger all compared to what a lot of policies do. And yeah. Real estate bubble. Crap. Not exactly what I wanted, because 50% of the country, close to 50% of the country is unemployed. The last thing I want is a real estate bubble making it harder for people to afford a house. A large number of people have been caught entering our country hidden inside cargo containers in an organised attempt at people smuggling. I thought I just did a whole heap of stuff relating to illegal immigration. I don't want to deport them, but I'm going to deport them because I have a big unemployment issue. And I keep talking about this unemployment issue, but it's important. And unless I'm missing something in relation to Germany and the fact that it has, according to the game, that unemployment number, I'm just hoping it's not related to something that I don't know about, like the solidarity tax or, you know, something similar, which is a German-only policy. Citizenship test, yeah, so let's bang those up to the full amount as well, and let's see if making it basically impossible for anyone who's not already a citizen in this country to come in and work, let's see if that fixes our unemployment. Maybe. So that also used all my political capital. Well, I'm going through a few quick turns here. That's, you know. Ministerial resignation. Yeah, whatever. Country's pollution is under control. Okay. Cool. Health through the roof. Awesome. Budget deficit up ever so slightly. Rare earth crisis is coming up to the start trigger, so I'm probably going to have to introduce rare earth metal mining, which is going to have a negative effect on the environment, but should actually, now that I think about it, help with the jobs. And I'll also need to employ a new cabinet minister at some point. So, where is rare earth metal mining? I don't know. It probably should be right in front of my face, and I'm probably... There we go. Oh, 32 political capital. Okay. Alright. What is the maximum? 38. So I could get that if I was to spend no money on this turn, I could introduce rare earth metal mining and help the rare earth crisis. So because it's about to hit the start trigger, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But first I've got to hire a new transport minister. Somebody who's going to be loyal and somebody who has popularity with groups who like me. Self-employed? What do you guys think of me? Oh, you don't hate me. Capitalists? Yeah, you're alright with me. Parents and conservatives. You know what? I'm going to go with Sophie Voigt. And let's see. Alright. Next turn, we'll save up our political capital. Housing market boom. Well, I didn't want that to happen, but it's happened. So now I sort of just need to get over it and deal with it, I guess. The good news is unemployment dropped. Okay. So let's introduce rare earth metal mining, which was under economy. Yes, it was. So I'm going to fund the hell out of that, mainly because it's going to help us get closer to our technological advantage, and it's going to cause our productivity to skyrocket. It's going to kill the environment. I don't want to do that, but if I was to let rare earth metal mining and the rare earth crisis become a thing, then it causes our technology to decrease and causes a whole host of other issues that I don't want to deal with. So it's easier for me to introduce that and then keep working on the environment. Carpooling camp. What is car usage like? So even though we have a telecommuting initiative, which is, encouraging people to work from home, which was introduced there, it's back through the roof. Okay, you know what? I'm going to introduce a carpooling campaign because that's going to help the environment. One political capital. Bloody oath, I'm going to introduce that. National Armed Forces Week. Yeah, possibly. Free parenting classes. Causes the population to go up, which is not necessarily something I want to do when I've still got to get unemployment under control. But it also increases gender equality, which is important to having an egalitarian society. So I won't introduce that yet, but I'll definitely introduce that. Now, let's do some plastic bag tax. It's a small income, but it's, with the amount of money we're spending on the people in this country, they've got to make some sacrifices somewhere. Their income's going through the roof, hopefully. Speaking of which, how do I actually... Opinion polls, disposable income. Okay, so everyone is middle income-ish. So the general idea is to drag that up to there. Okay. I'm sure I can do it. Let's go to the next turn, see what it's got in store for us. Power lines. These are necessary to further increase the use of renewable energy sources. I can't English tonight. Not building them would be an economic setback. I don't want to have an economic setback. Does building these power lines give people jobs? Yes, but it also potentially causes health issues. The thing is here, it says there's alternative ways like underground power lines, and there is, but does the game then implement underground power lines? I'm going to assume it does, because I much prefer the look of underground power lines as well. New major party donor, awesome. Now, our budget deficit is down to 19.92, which is getting a little bit high, if I'm honest. Okay. Not necessarily what I wanted to read, but, I mean, it's been higher than that. We managed to get it back under control, so... Import tariffs. I mean, what's our international trade like? I don't necessarily want to implement this. Our international trade is quite high, but it's probably helping to reduce the food price. Is that what it's doing? That kills the uncompetitive economy modifier, which is right about to be on the starting trigger. Or it's just past the starting trigger, and I don't necessarily... So I'm going to introduce some low import tariffs so that we can potentially get our uncompetitive economy... What is wrong with my ability to English tonight? under control. Three political capital. What can I do with three political capital? What is tobacco usage like in this country? It is high. Let's introduce a tobacco awareness campaign. Why not? The health of the country is already in a good place, but I mean, if we can get it to an even better place, I mean, why not? So who is the people that like me and who is the people that need some, that I need to work on? I need to work on capitalists. They don't hate me, but they don't love me. And same with conservatives. Ethnic minorities, yeah, they probably hate me because of my recently introduced tough border controls. Probably the same with the liberals. But there's a lot of people who are very happy with me as well. Environmentalists, farmers, patriots, the poor, the retired, the self-employed, socialists, surprisingly, state employees, and even the youth like me. Do the youth even, like, when they say youth, is it, you know, people of legal voting age? Or, Anyway, next turn. There we go. Hospital overcrowding is no longer a thing. Obviously, by reducing the international trade, we probably didn't help the GDP. But that actually reminds me. Let us cancel ban Sunday shopping. Yeah. Face recognition in public. Yeah, absolutely I want to ban face recognition in public. It should only be used for criminal purposes, and we have such low crime in this country anyway. We can afford to. Yes, I understand that the rare earth crisis is right about to on the start trigger, but I have introduced rare earth metal mining, so that should help. The polls are optimistic. If the election was held tomorrow, we would get 100% of the vote. Okay, no worries. So, I can't make my manifesto pledges yet. Okay, that's fine. All good. Who am I up against in the election? I'm up against the United Moderates and the Techno-Environmentalists, who have absolutely no... Yeah, okay. So, are they telling me that no one is fanatically supportive of me? What's the... I mean, there's a lot of Green members who are supposedly fanatically opposed, and yet I have 100% popularity. That doesn't seem right in any way. Low MPG cars. Yes, this is going to help the environment, and because I've already introduced the policy that allows us to fit new catalytic converters to older cars, I can start to drag this up and help the environment and still allow those older cars to be used. So yes, I will increase that. Bicycle subsidies. Yeah, it helps the health and it reduces car usage, rail usage, bus usage, and obesity. So, I mean, hey, win-win-win. Speaking of which, how is obesity in this country? Oh, it's fallen below the start trigger. Interesting. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Alright, 2 political capital, not enough to worry about. Let's go to the next turn. The national team has crashed out of the World Cup earlier than expected. Okay, cool. Is there something sports related that we could potentially fund that could cause that to not be a problem in the future? The global economy is in a recession. Whoa! So, that's the global economy, and that's our GDP. So, that answers my question as to why we were getting a few drops in the GDP, because the global economy is literally on a roller coaster downwards. Cool. The only thing that's a little bit annoying is I've had the the debt GDP ratio at 86.61% currently, and for basically the whole gameplay, if I'm not mistaken, below 100%. But my credit rating is only AA. I understand I've got 2.55 trillion euro debt, but I wonder what the cutoff percentage is to turn that into a AAA credit rating. That would be something interesting. All right, so let's increase gender equality, because I do not believe that this is something that should be going on in a first world country. And yes, imprisonment is definitely something that needs to be done for that. Diplomatic service. So that boosts our foreign relations, which means that as our GDP keeps growing, it's going to help with cyber warfare. Yes, I'm going to fund that to the absolute maximum. I know it takes 24 turns to implement, but I'm fine with that. Absolutely fine with that. Winter fuel subsidy. Yep. Potentially in the future if required. Now, this is something that will fix the environment, CO2 emissions, pollution, any water shortage, potential problems. But it's expensive as shit. So... Oh, it just reduces CO2 emissions. It doesn't fix the environment? That doesn't sound right. I could have sworn it helps with the environment as well. Smashes CO2 emissions, and I mean, I say only, but considering what the policy is, it only costs 4.45 billion per turn. You know what? Let's fund it at the highest possible low setting and see what happens. I know that's going to cause our deficit to skyrocket into the 20s just before an election. Not necessarily the smartest move, I will agree. I'm also pretty keen on fixing respiratory disease, which still seems to be quite high in this country, and tobacco usage does too. Now, there's only 11% tax on smoking. Now, I don't want to, tax it to the, no end, but maybe increasing it to 25% or something should help have a nice negative downturn on usage. That's why I can't really implement it. I've only got 3 political capital. What can I implement that's potentially going to help or give a good, give me some good stuff going into the election? Make the people of this country go, yeah, good, awesome. We should keep him on for the next term of government. You know what? Let's introduce a social justice foundation. Because we've got so many middle-income people, I want them to have a say in our society. And yes, it increases liberalism, but I don't mind that. I want everyone to have a voice. And this enables everyone to have a voice, especially if I fund it to the maximum and follow in the footsteps of the rest of this playthrough. So that's what I'm going to do. Go to the next turn. There we go. Bang. Egalitarian society. Now that is something I wanted to achieve. Still got angry classic car salesmen. Guys, I've introduced the ability to fit catalytic converters to your classic cars that cause you or enable you to still be able to drive them no matter what. So, shh. Imagine if the leader of a country told people who were complaining to just shh. I swear I've already been asked this. Maybe I'm going insane, but I only need a criminal-only database because, in case you weren't aware, we don't have crime in this country anymore. Alright, so they still predict we get 100% of the vote. God, the global economy is trashed. Cool. Parties. Oh, we have the wow, that really moved around a lot. It was fanatically opposed just before, and now everyone's fanatically supportive at this point. Alrighty. Manifesto. I will make the pledge to raise gender equality to 90%, yes. Income tax, I'm not going to make a comment. Current value 46%. I might cut that, but I'm not going to cut it by 25%, at least not until our GDP is at the point where nothing hurts it. No flash crashes, no global recessions, nothing. They want me to raise narcotics by 50%? Yeah, I'm happy to cut. Do I want to cut ID cards? I mean, there is no crime in this country, so I can cut ID cards. And I'll cut the solidarity tax a little bit, because seeing as it's meant to end anyway in Germany, I think next year, I may as well do that. Alright, so that's 3 manifestos. Don't really want to make any speeches, no fundraising. What's my perception? I'm 44% compassionate. Alrighty, if you say so. But minus 2% strong leader. Because I had a minister resign. Okay. So, not that I really need to do anything going into this election except spend some political capital, make people extremely happy, and yeah, fuel efficiency standards, I think I've already maxed that out. Stop doing that game. Ban low mile per gallon cars. Okay, I don't want to ban. Okay. Because I still want the people who can get the catalytic converters fitted to their old cars to be allowed to do that and then allowed to drive them. So I'll just do very high restrictions, which pains me to do as a car enthusiast myself. But anyway, State Rail Company. Okay. That is costing a lot of money per turn, but what is rail usage like? Average. Seems specifically average for the amount of money that is being spent. So I have one of two options the way I see it with this policy. Completely reduce it to nothing and let the private industry take over the rail network, or in an attempt to improve the environment even more, just max it. Employs more people, reduces poverty, gives us some trade unionists, pisses off the capitalists big time, increases rail usage. But still 22.65 billion per turn. Not right now. I feel like the country needs to be in a place where basically the GDP doesn't get hurt no matter what happens before I can start doing things like that. Clean energy subsidies, yep, they're maximised. That's the carbon capture. Business startup campaign, I've maximised that. Just making sure that I've sort of maximised things that will help the people of this country before we go to the first election. Public services, law and order. You know what? Let's fix the strong leader, which is at minus 2%. Let's fund National Armed Forces Week to the maximum. And then I've got 5 political capital. What can I do with 5 political capital? Can't do anything about the tobacco tax, which is fine. Microgeneration grants. Yep, let's crank that to the absolute maximum. 3 political capital. What's the security briefing like going into the election? There's basically no threat assessment whatsoever, which is not surprising to hear based on the fact that I have 100% popularity. Sorry, 99.65. Okay. All right. I think with our new egalitarian society, no crime, no poverty, basically no unemployment or very little unemployment now, extremely good health, extremely good education, all of that achieved in 5 years. I mean, whew, that's let's go to the election. So, what did we only spent 36.86 million on campaign spending. They spent 3 times the amount. But I think that's between the two parties. Anyway, let's start the count. A lot of non-voters. More non-voters than actual voters. Which is slightly frustrating. But 99% majority. Okay? Pretty good. Alright. Begin next term. So, who... Green, 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 and green. So just you two are letting me down on political capital. Well, you can kiss your jobs goodbye then. I got such a strong rest of my cabinet. I want to maintain that. So, what is your sympathies? Religious and motorist. You're not going to like me. So, foreign policy, you give me 1.8. You're happy with your sympathies lie with environmentalists and capitalists. Okay, I'll hire you. And we'll hire someone for welfare as well. Liberal parents, I mean, yeah. Motorist liberal, that's not really any better. Retired and socialist. She has good loyalty, basically no experience, no campaigning whatsoever. You know, it's probably not going to be the best decision, but I think Julia Keller, because Liberals will get happier and parents are not exactly disgusted by me. Alright, cool. Okay, so this is now our second term of government, and I think I'm going to call it there. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'm new at this, so if you've got any constructive criticism, tips, suggestions, anything else in relation to the videos, in the game, please let me know. I'm all ears. I'm all about getting better at this and providing a better, viewing for you guys to watch. So, yeah. All right. Wherever you are in the world, enjoy your morning, your afternoon, or your evening, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.